Can you imagine being a bodybuilding legend and, at the same time, the most controversial figure in the sport? This was the life of Nasser El Sonbaty, the giant who made the stages tremble with his imposing physique and explosive statements. How did he go from dominating competitions to uncovering the darkest secrets of bodybuilding? What led him to such a tragic and unexpected end? Get ready to learn his story and what his tragic end of life was like. Don't forget to subscribe for more bodybuilding content, and let's start with this BodyBuilding World video. Nasser El Sonbaty was born in the German city of Stuttgart on October 15, 1965, to a family of an Egyptian father and a Serbian mother. Since he was little, despite having privileged genetics, Nasser played soccer and hated bodybuilding. Every time he saw a body that was too big in magazines, he found it repulsive. The first time he went to a gym was to strengthen his legs for soccer. However, with his genetically imposing physique at 18, he kept getting asked if he had competed in bodybuilding, which sparked his interest in the potential he had. From there, he focused on bodybuilding. At the same time, he started at university in 1982. He studied at the University of Augsburg, where he obtained a degree in history, political science, and sociology in 1992, while training and competing. Without a doubt, this man had great physical and intellectual genetics. He was nicknamed the Professor in the fitness world, as he could speak 7 different languages. As he trained harder and harder, he began in amateur competitions in Germany, and it was in 1990 when he debuted as a professional when he received the professional card of the IFBB, and from there he triumphed throughout Europe, where he did not go unnoticed in the United States, and received the invitation in 1994 to the biggest stage of all, the Mr. Olympia. He finished 7th, beating out the likes of Andreas Munzer and a young Ronnie Coleman, leading to the assumption that in a few years he would reign supreme at the Mr. Olympia. His 264-pound, 6 feet tall physique was so striking that bodybuilding magnate Joe Weider gave him a full-time contract. This was a huge financial boon that would allow him to stop working and just focus on bodybuilding. 1995 came, and the man known for his wireframe glasses believed that this was his year and a unique opportunity to destroy Dorian Yates. However, he finished 3rd, with Dorian taking the title, beginning to understand that it was all a farce. Nasser believed that some of the judges were friends of Dorian Yates, and did not want someone who was not American to win, convincing himself that it was all a farce. The following year, El Sonbaty finished 3rd at the Mr. Olympia again, behind Levrone and winner Yates. Despite this, he received much praise for his improved physique. However, he was disqualified for failing the IFBB diuretic test. Diuretics are substances used by some bodybuilders to remove excess water from the body, which can help achieve a more defined appearance on stage. However, this did not stop Nasser. He continued to train intensely for the 1997 edition, where it was his big chance. The champion Yates arrived with a triceps injury, which affected his physique badly. He was not the same beast as before, and clearly Nasser had a chance to beat the defending champion who was seeking his 6th Mr. Olympia. Yates's body was racked with pain, and far from his best. Few knew that it would be the 6-time champion's last Mr. Olympia. Unlike Dorian's asymmetrical physique and difficult time, Nasser came into the competition in spectacular form, with a bigger and leaner physique than last year, as well as perfect symmetry. He also came in on the back of a series of strong performances and wins at the IFBB Grand Prix competitions. At around 297 pounds of symmetrical muscle mass, he was a threat in any competition he entered. It looked like this time he was going to get his first. As he walked onto the stage, Nasser was convinced he was going to win. The only advantage Yates had was his famously big back, which rarely failed to impress. But the pain from his torn triceps severely hampered his posing routine, somewhat taking away any advantage he might have had. But when it came time to announce the winner, it was again the same story. Yates was once again the winner, while El Sonbaty watched from second place. This generated boos from the public and accusations of favoritism towards the IFBB, the organization behind the Mr. Olympia. And the German did not hesitate to express his anger and unleash his fury at the defeat, declaring one of the most humiliating phrases in the history of bodybuilding, saying that he had been beaten by a man with the belly of a 6-month pregnant woman, referring to Dorian, and also that it has been the biggest robbery of the 20th century. For El Sonbaty, the world of bodybuilding, starting with Joe Weider, the creator of the Mr. Olympia, and the judges wanted Yates to remain champion at any price. Some judges did not want to upset their friend Dorian, and did not want him to leave bodybuilding with a defeat after all his injuries and tears. In addition, they did not want to give another non-American man the most prestigious title in bodybuilding, because it would mark the inferiority of the United States in bodybuilding compared to the rest of the world. This decision is still considered one of the biggest robberies in the history of the Mr. Olympia. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe. It would help us a lot. Let's continue. Many experts considered Nasser to have the superior physique that day. His physique was so superior to others that he won the Arnold Classic that same year, beating Yates. Without a doubt, this edition was the beginning of the end for El Sonbaty as a bodybuilder. He participated the following year, finishing in 3rd place, but by then the invincible Ronnie Coleman had appeared, who won the competition for the first time, and as many know, no one would topple the Coleman dynasty until Jay Cutler in 2006. The 1999 Arnold Classic was Nasser's last consolation, and he fell into decline over the years until he retired in 2005, without first revealing the darkest secrets. From this moment on, he was very critical of bodybuilding and destroyed judges and magnates behind this world. In his last years of life, in an interview with journalist David Robson in 2009, he made more controversial statements, such as that many bodybuilders do not receive the financial recognition they deserve, so 95% of them are forced to resort to drug dealing, security work, or the film industry in order to survive. It is a sport governed by hypocrites who only look out for their benefit, the German confessed. Nasser was the closest thing to an intellectual, and he confessed that being too educated and intelligent, he was very dangerous for the IFBB. There they wanted bodybuilders with alienated thoughts, who do not think for themselves. Also, what went down very badly in the IFBB was his claim that the leaders of the sport were pressuring bodybuilders to reach extremely dangerous levels of fitness. This forced them to consume megadoses of supplements and drugs that made you have to be strong as a horse in order not to get sick, and if you don't have good genetics, it can even kill you. Nasser didn't know that this was what was going to end up happening to him. After more than 22 years of a career consuming steroids and diuretics for competitions, the German ended up paying the consequences, despite having dedicated himself to giving talks to raise awareness about their use after his retirement. In March 2013, at the age of 47, the bodybuilding world, except perhaps some members of the IFBB, mourned his death in the city of Cairo in Egypt. The cause was heart failure due to kidney failure from steroid use. His kidneys were badly damaged, and drugs such as diuretics, anabolic steroids, insulin and synthol, an oil used to correct muscle defects in pursuit of perfect symmetry, also made him pay a tragic price. Despite being considered by many to be the most intelligent bodybuilder in history due to his university studies and his self-criticism of the bodybuilding world for the use of steroids that affect health, Nasser died from the cause he so criticized. Although he was seen as a potential Olympic champion, he quickly gained fame as a man resentful of his experiences in the sport. Instead of retiring to enjoy public events, he chose to undertake a campaign against those who, in his opinion, had caused him harm during his career. However, behind Nasser El Sonbaty, there is a positive message of health care. His death brought back to the table the risks of using steroids and other substances in bodybuilding, highlighting the urgency of adopting a safer and more ethical approach in this sport. After his passing, health problems Nasser had been battling for years were reported, including kidney failure and heart complications, aggravated by his long-term use of steroids and other drugs. This tragedy served as an alarming reminder of the dangers faced by professional bodybuilders. If you were interested in this video and want to know the story of another bodybuilder whose life was taken by steroids, you have to watch this video.